Hello. Welcome back from lunch. Thanks for being here, everybody. Let's get things started with the. Oh, that's not the agenda. That's the minutes. Let's start with the roll call. Stephen, are you ready for that?
Yep. I am going to go ahead and apologize because I haven't done this in a while. So if I completely screw up your name, I'm sorry. Just start with that. Elliot Vitz?
Viddies.
Viddies, okay. There we go.
Thank you.
See, I already screwed up the first one. Great. Okay, Matt Rashad?
Here.
Okay. Chris Nesmith?
Here.
Going to Lancaster, Stephen Criswell?
Here.
Okay. Jared Urosh?
Here.
Brittany Taylor Driggers? Brittany Taylor Driggers? Okay. Rebecca Freeman?
Here.
Lynette Martek?
Here.
Sahar Gassafadi?
Hello. Here.
Kim Richardson?
I'm here.
Okay. And is anybody else alternate for Lancaster? Either Fernanda Burke, Lee Kai, or Kate Holland?
I just cut out. This is Brittany Taylor Driggers. I'm here.
Okay, perfect. I'll put you there. All right. Thanks. Sokahachi, Justin Mogilski.
I'm here.
Kirsten Iden.
Here.
Okay. Lakendra Paldo.
I'm here.
Yasmina Vallejos Moreno.
I'm here.
Sumter Hayes Hampton.
I am here.
Andrew Kunka.
Here.
Okay. Somyadeep Acharya.
Hi, I'm here.
I'm sorry if I completely screwed your name up.
That's okay. It's not sorry yet.
Luisa Melo.
Here.
Blaine Da Silva.
Here.
And Cher Chetri.
I'm here.
And then Union, Katie Click.
Here.
Greta Bailey. Emily Schaefer.
Here.
All right. And then Sandy Phillips Long.
Here.
Thank you. And does anybody else want to be counted present in case you need, some kind of excuse? Get out of jail free card. I don't know. Okay. I'll take it that's everybody's here. So pretty much.
Thank you. Up next is the approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed before the meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved as distributed. We move on to reports from standing committees. By tradition, R&R goes first. Is Rebecca Freeman here? Hey.
Yes. Hey. Hi, everyone. So R&R's continued our discussion of post-tenure review. We have two motions that we'll be bringing up in new business. They are changes to the manual, so they will not be voted on today. And I can share those with y'all now if you want, or we can wait until new business. Either way was fine.
Could you give us a brief description of them, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the first one, let me go ahead and just share the first one, so I'm not misquoting anything. So everyone should see that. The first one is in the post-tenure review section, which is on pages 16 through 17 of the manual. We are proposing to remove the first bullet point under post-tenure review because it does not actually involve post-tenure review. It talks about annual administrative evaluation of the faculty. The second one, and let me go to that one. Stop sharing for a sec, and we'll go to the other one. And then the second one is continued clarification of the post-tenure review. It's still in that same section, the post-tenure review section, pages 16 through 17. In this one, we are looking at updating bullet point 4 and kind of clarifying the process of post-tenure review. So post-tenure, basically this is what we're looking at doing is kind of adding some clarification. So when we're talking 6-year review or reviewing every 6 years, what does that mean? It actually means that you're getting reviewed for 6 years of work, and clarifying who the file goes to, and some pieces like you're not subjected to external review. You're not required to include the summary of teaching evaluations, and then just doing a little bit more clarification on the fact that you're not required to get the highly effective as you would if you were going up for promotion, and kind of clarifying where the results will go once that review has been done.
Mm-hmm. Any questions for Rebecca?
I have a question. This is Shelley Jones. Rebecca, I'm wondering with the first motion, the bullet point, you said that it will be removed. Will it be placed somewhere else in the manual or just removed altogether?
So in this one, it's actually already described in more depth under the faculty evaluation section on page 14. So we are proposing removing it from under the post-tenure review section, but leaving it under where it is currently, which is under the annual evaluations, under the faculty evaluation section on page 14, because it actually goes into more depth there.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Other questions for R&R? Thank you, Dr. Friedman. Up next is welfare. Do we have Katie Click or Emily Schaefer for a report?
Hey everyone, yeah, Katie Click here. So a lot of this is just looking back, give you a summary of kind of what we've done. So obviously we had the TMP workshop. Also recently, we had our ad hoc awards committee get together and conduct the process for giving our system awards. So that was successful with some minor suggestions for changes next year, with which welfare discussed a little bit today, and we'll kind of get back onto that in fall. We also, as you guys know, I've been spamming your emails with the faculty welfare survey. First of all, I just want to say thank you to those who have participated. We are already over 100 participants, which is blowing out of the water what past year. So I appreciate you all doing that. If you have not yet participated, I'm going to drop the link into the chat here, so maybe you could do that today. So what I will be doing this summer, along with some of the members of the welfare committee, is organizing a report, and you guys will get more information of what kind of comes out of this welfare survey on the back end. So when we get back in fall. We're continuing, and I will say we've spent a little bit less time in our year working on this, but we are continuing to oversee and coordinate the Palmetto College Faculty Welfare Resource page. If you do not know, this page has a lot of resources for faculty, and our members of the Faculty Welfare Committee in their reports to your faculty organizations will continue to kind of advertise this resource to each of your campuses as kind of a really valuable faculty resource. If you find any links or anything odd on there that when you're kind of perusing that page, just send it over to me via email, because we are continually trying to make sure that all the links go places and have updated information. And then I want to talk about this last thing, which this is a bit new, but we had a lot of discussions today on faculty training, particularly because our faculty are dealing with a student population that tends to be overwhelmed, based on Dr. Schaefer's research. If you guys haven't heard, but our students kind of across all the campuses are scoring very high on traumatic events that they've experienced. So we know our students are struggling. And so one thing that we talked about today with the committee is finding resources for faculty to get the training needed to kind of manage students in advising and things like that if they are having kind of these significant life events and whatnot can be difficult to manage. And so we came up with some solutions, but one of those that I'm going to be following up is that Kirsten Iden knows a lot about CTE, and I'm grateful to have her on this committee because she said that CTE has like a mental health training, Trauma 101, and ideally we'd like to work with CTE to see if we can get that available to take online so that all of our faculty have the opportunity to get that training so that you can manage your students as well. And this is not just limited to faculty. We'd like to get this available for all staff. So that is kind of one of our going to be a big thing that we work on in the fall. Is to really make sure that we have access to the training that'll help faculty be the best that they could be for their students. And that is all the updates I have. But again, if you haven't taken the faculty welfare survey, check the link. It is in the chat, and I would appreciate if you could do that. It'll be open till about mid-May. But thank you guys.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the Welfare Committee? Excellent. Thank you. Up next to System Affairs, Blaine De Silva.
Good afternoon, everyone. Having discussed and approved PALM 294, which is a course that came from Academic Advisory Committee, we have a motion for that approval to be, I guess, voted on. I'm going to rely on Andy to kind of figure out what we need to go do from here. I can share that motion with you. Can you see that now? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll take it up and vote on it in new business.
Okay.
Anything else to report from System Affairs today?
No, that'll be it.
Great. Thanks. That brings us. Oh, any questions for System Affairs? Sorry. Cool. That goes to Executive Committee. That's me. Executive Committee met today and talked about some scheduling plans for the fall. We talked a lot about we're continuing to talk about how we work out our delegation numbers right now. You probably all know that the number of senators a campus gets is based proportionately on the number of students that campus has. We're probably going to, over the summer, come up with a proposed version that has it based on the number of full-time faculty that campus has instead of the number of students, mostly because it's going to be more stable. We looked at the proportions and it'll come out basically the same, but a bad semester won't suddenly make a huge swing in the Senate, at least not as quickly. We're probably going to come up with a draft of that over the summer and figure out a standing committee to hand it to. We'd like to make sure we have Senate buy-in on it, so we don't want to bring it up directly. We don't want to be the ones preventing this motion, so that's probably something coming next year. And we looked at and we talked about the motions that are coming up today. And then that brings us to Manual Liaison Officer, who is also me. We have 3 motions coming from Executive Committee today. They are listed on the agenda. There's the System Faculty Leadership Overhaul. This changes the way the System Faculty Leadership Council is described in the manual. It sort of got thrown in there when that committee got thrown together. We're moving it from Columbia committees to its own section because it's not really a Columbia committee, and being a little more specific in our membership on it. There's the capitalization motion, which is very, very exciting to me. We're finally going to decapitalize a lot of words in the manual, capitalize a few, get rid of some gendered language, make it Palmetto College Columbia consistently everywhere instead of its old name, which I'm blanking on right now. And
Extended University.
Extended University, yes. And it also makes it clear that for the purposes of the manual, that counts as a campus. So we're just going to talk about 5 campuses and not talk about 4 campuses and Extended University in a few places in the manual. And a few other little tweaks that I'll bring up when we get to unfinished business. And then a third motion clarifying administrative evaluation scope. This was put forward in November. We should have voted on it February. It slipped through the cracks. We have it to bring up to vote today. That just clarifies that local campuses aren't required to have identical administrative evaluation tools. Tools? There's a word for a survey. Instruments. Yeah, those are 3 things coming up in unfinished business, and I'll have those to present when we get there. Any questions for me on either of those reports? Then let's move on to reports from special committees. Oop. Oh, thanks. Awesome. That motion is visible. If anyone wants to study it before new business. The Committee on Libraries, Professor Freeman.
Hey again, everyone. So the Committee on Libraries met on March 17th. This is the first time we've met with the new Dean of Libraries, David Banish, and I might be pronouncing that wrong. We met in the Special Collections Library. He has been holding listening sessions with different stakeholders, students, faculty, staff throughout Columbia's campus. Since he started in November 2022. This meeting was basically a continuation of those listening sessions. We basically provided feedback from the committee as to kind of their perception of the library through their departments and their own perceptions. And basically everything was positive. There was some discussion of the library participating in some themed semesters and potentially providing some targeted resources based on that theme, because some of the departments, I guess, are doing some themed semesters, so kind of connecting the library with those. And then it was highlighted that the library does a lot for different users on campus, but not everyone knows about those resources, and really making sure that he knows, you know, it needs to be marketed more, and kind of providing that information out to the different departments, because they do a lot of different things that, you know, it's kind of buried on the website. So that's what we talked about on the meeting. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Committee on Curriculum Courses. Do we have a report from Andy Kunka?
Yeah, I submitted a report electronically, but the Courses and Curriculum Committee has met twice since February and approved a slate of new courses, course changes, and program changes. And I've included in my written report a list of a few classes that could be of possible interest to Palmetto College faculty. A lot of the courses that go through Courses and Curriculum, especially in the second half of this year, have been graduate level courses that I don't think many or any PC campuses offer. So I tend to try to focus when a new class comes up, if it's at the 200 or 300 level, or if it's comparable to classes that we already offer. So anyway, I recommend taking a look at the report for those classes, and then I will be on sabbatical in the fall, so I'll be stepping down from the Courses and Curriculum Committee, but whoever ends up filling those shoes, if they would like to consult with me about what to do. The committee is really good at providing information to introduce new members to the processes, which are pretty complicated. They've developed some good tools for that, but there may still be questions or help needed with with getting started. So I'd be glad to help whoever takes over this position from me for next year. That's it.
Any questions for curriculum courses? Thank you, Andy. Committee on Faculty Welfare. Professor Katie Click, do you have a report? You're muted, Katie, sorry.
Oh, so nothing major to report. We've been meeting. We meet every Monday, but nothing really relevant at the Palmetto College level. So I'll keep you all posted if there is.
Thanks. Faculty Board of Trustees Liaison Committee, that's me. We have not met. Palmetto College DEI Council, Ron Cox, do you have a report?
I submitted a written report and my dean's report, and I included the DEI information there. And in the interest of time, I'll be glad to answer any questions anyone may have. They can contact me.
Any questions? Great. Thank you. Palmetto College RPS, Professor Matt Rashad.
Hi, I was going to share my screen and go over a document if you don't mind.
Of course.
The Research and Productive Scholarship Committee is considering a number of ways to promote and support productive scholarship. So after reviewing a lot of previous ideas the committee has had, and also going over a 2006 report called Understanding and Promoting Productive Scholarship on the Regional Campuses, there seems to be about 5 categories or areas or ideas for supporting productive scholarship. So I just wanted to go over some of these and say these are things that we're considering doing. And if you have any feedback for us, just let us know or send me an email or let me know. So the 5 areas are, one would be to try to focus on increasing awareness of productive scholarship. Second area would be focusing on grant opportunities, then conferences, collaborating, and finally funding. So let me just cover some areas. And the increasing awareness idea is to kind of, in the sentence there, to foster an environment that provides visible recognition of scholarship. Some examples include a website or something like a Scholar of the Semester to showcase a scholar, or a newsletter. Grant opportunities could help support productive scholarship by letting PC faculty know about grant opportunities, or even having like a workshop to assist with grant writing. Conferences have been discussed, and there's been or some type of forum where people can discuss and present their scholarship. So one idea is to have a general PC conference, or another is to have something like a more informal conference with lots of side discussions. The next idea is to focus on collaborating. So assisting collaborations, trying to have more collaborations between the PC campuses and with even the Columbia programs. A final area might be to look at funding. And so examples might be to more funding for research equipment and science laboratories, and provide funding or supplement already available funds for supporting research. And that's the report for the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for RPS? Thanks. Other committees, we have the Conflict of Interest Committee. Do we have a report there? Sounds like no. Is there a report from the Carolina Core Approval Committee? Sounds like no. Let's get on to unfinished business. First item on here is the System Faculty Leadership Overhaul motion. Do I have that? I do. Let me share my screen. So this is coming from the executive committee, and I will show it, and the thing will try to hide, but I don't need it to hide because I have 2 monitors. Here it is. No, that's not the motion. This it is. System Faculty Leadership Council overhaul. The description of the System Faculty Leadership Council in the manual is vague and it's not in the right place. Here's what we have. We're taking the place where the System Faculty Leadership Council was described under Columbia Faculty Committees and cutting it because it's not a Columbia Faculty Committee. Then we're moving it to a new section called Representation and Faculty Governance at the System Level. This is the wrong font. It should be matching that font. It says the SFLC, 1 3-year term elected by the Columbia Faculty Senate, 2 2-year terms elected in alternate years by the Palmetto College Campus's Faculty Senate, as well as the Palmetto College Senate Chair or designee. Like we're just being more specific that the 2-year terms must be alternating in their election, that the person with the 3-year term goes through the Columbia Faculty Senate, and that the fact that the chair is on there, which did not, the chair or designee was on there. I tried to run and found out I was already on there this year. And then elsewhere, we're making it more explicit. Hey, there's 4 people, not 3, because the chair counts as one of them. The Senate will elect another 2 representatives, not its 2 representatives, because there's a 3rd one that's elected by Columbia. Staggered 2-year terms that are renewable. So there's no changes here, just adding more detail to the description so it's easier to find what you're looking for. Is there any discussion on this motion? Or, yeah, this was presented at the last meeting. It's a change to the manual, but it was presented at the last meeting, so we can vote on it today. Is there any discussion on the present motion to change the description of the System Faculty Leadership Council in the manual? I'm hearing no discussion, so let's move to a vote. This is the vote to approve the System Faculty Leadership Council overhaul motion that I am sharing on screen right now, I hope. Executive committee members, remember you're not voting members. I always forget that on survey time.
Dr. Yinks, are you ready for me to view the results?
Sure. It passed unanimously. Hooray for unanimity. Awesome. Our second item of unfinished business is this one. Is that what's next in the manual? In the agenda? Yeah, the capitalization motion. This is the motion to standardize capitalization, gender pronouns, other style issues. I will walk through the description. This motion is ridiculously long. It's a copy of the entire manual with all of these changes in it. It changes almost every page. It is changing. Oh, here's one that's not capitalization. We're fixing the word comprised, which is used wrong several places in the manual. Let me go through the list. We make capitalization more uniform. Here's a lot of descriptions. Most things are decapitalized. Palmetto College campuses is capitalized. A single Palmetto College campus is only capitalized. The PC part, Faculty Senate, is capitalized. Palmetto College faculty capitalizes Palmetto College, but not faculty. Faculty organization is capitalized. Campus dean is not capitalized, but Palmetto College campus dean is capitalized. Palmetto College campuses is usually without the, so policies apply at Palmetto College campuses is a change from on the Palmetto College campuses. If discussing a campus individually, if discussing the individual campuses, like it's the proper noun with a common plural, the campus is not capitalized, but this is usually reworded to disambiguate the campuses of Palmetto College usually. To say we are talking about a plural, not the singular proper noun Palmetto College campuses, the entity. We decapitalize the words dean, chancellor, provost, associate provost, president, chair, chair-elect, secretary, and more. They are decapitalized unless they're attached to a name. But Palmetto College Chancellor, because it's attached to the proper name, is capitalized. Those are often just changed to Chancellor or Chair. Professor, Associate Professor, and Assistant Professor are not capitalized except unless explicitly describing the rank. And we do explicitly describe the rank a lot of times talking about tenure and promotion. So it is capitalized about half the time. The words Senate, Senator, Alternate University Committee are not capitalized. We capitalized a lot of things in the old version. Office of the Provost is capitalized unless it's talking about the room. It doesn't talk about the room. The Board of Trustees is capitalized. Ad hoc is lowercase. These are all the capitalization issues. Titles. I have been the Palmetto College Campus's Faculty Manual Liaison Officer for 6 years. It's been a long time. We're just going to make that manual liaison. No italics, no capitalization. Gosh, what a title. Palmetto College Chancellor does require capitalization. It shows up many places now. So after doing those other changes, often the Palmetto College Chancellor is the only person in a long list of people who is capitalized, which looks a little weird. Many of those are changed to Chancellor of Palmetto College for the first time in a paragraph and then just Chancellor after that. In a couple places, it's just Chancellor if the context is obvious. The phrase Office of the Palmetto College Chancellor is left alone or changed to Office of the Chancellor. When disambiguating between Campus Dean and Academic Dean, the capitalized full titles are standardized Dean of Campus and Dean of Academic Affairs. When close to that, Palmetto College Chancellor is left in the capital. Like there are some places where these three people are in a list, and in those places we leave Palmetto College Chancellor capitalized because it's just trying to get the lists to have matching capitalization. So Palmetto College Chancellor kind of goes both ways depending on where it is in the list. Inclusive language, we change chairman to chair everywhere it appears. The phrase his or her or his is replaced with their where it occurs, except for many places where we're quoting the 1940 statement where, in one other place, his is used in a quote. Extended University is Palmetto College Columbia throughout the manual. All the campuses and Extended University is now all the campuses, and on page 2 in the first sentence of the manual, there's a parenthetical comment making it explicit that Palmetto College Columbia counts as a campus in this document. So everything that says all the campuses includes Palmetto College Columbia. The alternative to that was saying all the units, and it seems like this is the less confusing option. Like I want most faculty members will look at that and I want what the understanding of what campus is to mean to be well understood. And the smaller number of people at Palmetto College Columbia will need to understand that they count as a campus, yes. Additional error corrections. These are like technical changes. So these are not just style changes, but they're, well, I guess this one is. The word comprise is changed to compose in a couple places. And the nominating committee was listed as being chaired by the chair-elect, but the chair-elect doesn't exist half the time, so it's now specified that it's chaired by the chair-elect or the immediate past chair. These are the changes. This is what the manual looks like with the changes. This was presented at the last meeting. It's been on the website, so we're able to vote on it today. Is there any discussion of this motion? Hearing none, let's move to a vote. We are voting now on this motion to standardize capitalization, gender pronouns, and other style issues throughout the manual. And I am not a voting member.
I'm going to now show the results.
Sure. It was unanimous again. Hooray, faculty governance. And our third unfinished business, also coming from the executive committee. I can't remember that word today. This was presented in November. It should have been put up for a vote in February, and we missed it. On page 15, there's a place where the word each is used and its scope is unclear. We are making it clear by specifying it's describing each campus separately rather than all campuses as a whole. The place that is on page 15 of the faculty manual, or it was on page 15. A lot of the page numbers are changed with that big change. It says, the previous version says, although there is no specific university-wide format, which sort of tells what the rest of the paragraph should be saying, faculty evaluation should clearly measure performance against stated criteria and against any other expectations which have been stated in writing to the faculty member. Each campus should follow a consistent format and time frame for its evaluations. We're changing it to each campus should follow its own consistent format and timeframe for evaluations. To make it clear, there is not one consistent format for all the campuses. Is there any discussion of this motion? Hearing none, let's bring this up to a vote. We are voting on the motion clarifying administrative evaluation control. And I'm remembering that I'm not a voting member.
I'm going to share the
And it's
results.
unanimous again. Yeah. Hooray. That's the end of unfinished business. We move on now to new business. And let me hand it off to one of the new businesses so that, because I realize I don't have those motions ready to present. Rebecca, would you like to present for R&R first?
Sure, I can do that.
Thanks.
Let me share. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. This is the first one. So it's removing that first bullet point under post-tenure review. Basically, the first bullet point under post-tenure review covers annual evaluations, but nothing specific to post-tenure review. Annual evaluations are described in more depth under the faculty evaluation section on page 14. So what we're proposing is to remove it under post-tenure because it doesn't talk about anything in relation to post-tenure as such. So removing the first bullet point under the post-tenure review section on page 17. And then renumbering the remaining bullet points. So removing bullet point 1 and then renaming all the rest of them. So making this one number 1 and the number 2. This bullet point basically talks, number 1 talks about that each campus will conduct an annual administrative evaluation with its faculty and that faculty members will be provided a written report of this evaluation and that the basis for these evaluations is the criteria for tenure and promotion. But it doesn't talk about post-tenure, but it's listed under post-tenure. So that's what we're recommending under this one. Before I go on to the next one, were there any questions about this or any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will go on to the next one. Yes.
Let's vote on this before we go to the next one.
Well,
wait,
we can't
hang on,
vote on
we're not
this
voting
because it's.
today. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
this
both
stuff.
of these are manual changes,
That's my line.
so we can't
Yeah.
vote on them today. We'll have to vote on them the next semester. So,
okay.
And they will be posted up on the website. So let me go to the other one. Okay, so the other one is talking about the same section. Now, they kind of go together, so just be aware that I haven't changed any numberings on these. So this one does list number 1 still because we haven't voted on it. This one is to clarify the process of post-tenure review, at least to some extent, and it's specifically updating bullet point 4 under post-tenure review section on pages 16 through 17 to clarify how that is, how post-tenure review happens. So what we're proposing is to change bullet point 4, which is this one, which right now says once every 6 years, tenured faculty members of any academic rank shall undergo a process of review, which includes peers outside of the faculty members department or division. Though post-tenure review is based on criteria established for tenure and promotion, the process of evaluation need only establish satisfactory or unsatisfactory levels of performance and not the highly effective record as required for promotion to higher academic ranks. What we are proposing is to clarify some aspects of this because it says once every 6 years. It doesn't specify what that includes. So we are recommending that we change it to specify that it is a review of the previous 6 years of work, and that it is based off the criteria of tenure and promotion as the basis for the review. We are also specifying that the file will be submitted to and reviewed by the local tenure and promotion committee. We pulled this information from the third year. So it's in line kind of with what third year is. The file is not subject to external review, and that the faculty member is not required to include the compiler summary of teaching evaluations unless, of course, they choose to. And then the highly effective record as listed in the manual on pages 8 to 11, and I realize I need to put the Palmetto College manual instead of just the manual. On pages 8 to 11 is not required for this review, and that the results of this review will be provided to the faculty member and forwarded to the local campus dean. So that was a lot, but and I did submit these in the chat as well, so people can look at it there. Any discussion?
I guess I want to make a note to remember in the fall that the new manual liaison, who will not be me, should make sure to make the numbers 8 to 11 hyperlinked so that it automatically updates if those pages change. But I can leave that for the new manual liaison to deal with.
And I'm just going to put this in here because it should be campus's faculty manual instead of just manual. And for that, so I have the pages that are currently linked in the current manual. I don't know if you want to make note of that as well, because those are going to change.
Yeah,
so
that might change too. I guess I'll also say Palmetto College campus's faculty manual is italicized.
Yeah.
Because it's a title. The kind of thing I don't have to think about as much next year. That's going to be great. Any discussion of this motion? Okay, we'll look forward on hearing that from R&R in the fall.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. A thing I am realizing I forgot to charge the committees to do today is to elect the chair for next year. I will remember that at the end and ask each committee to email its membership about figuring out a chair for next year. Because we want to know what those are over the summer for the retreat at the end of summer. But I will remember to remind us of that at the end. That was R&R. We also have a motion coming from System Affairs. Dr. De Silva, you ready to show that off?
Yes. Give me a second here.
Sure.
Okay. Can you see this?
I can see it. Can you make it a little bigger with the zoom in on the bottom right of Word? Yeah, that's the thing. Thanks.
A little better? How about I just cut off the top here since you don't need it? There we go. So this is a new course, Palm 294, referred to us by the Academic Advisory Committee. This is a internship type course, similar to 494, but different in the number of hours and the emphasis on technical writing as opposed to academic writing. I have a sample course description here and the rationale for you guys to read. I will refer any questions about it to one of the two Steves. I spoke to Steve Lowndes and he said he'd be more than willing to answer any questions. I think they'll have a better idea of how to answer the questions than I might.
Thanks. Any discussion on this motion? This was presented at the last meeting. It's ready for a vote today. One more chance for discussion.
I have a question, Andy. This is Shelley Jones from Palmetto College, Columbia. We did have something come up in our faculty meeting. I'm not sure if y'all spoke about this today in your meeting, but about apparently there had been a textbook that was assigned for this course, and it's the same textbook as the one that's used in the 400 level course. Was that taken out or addressed in some way?
Let me address that first, and then if either Steve Lowe or Steve Lowndes wants to talk about it. We did discuss it. I don't think assigned is actually the correct phrase as far as I know. It was more of a suggestion. Also, we felt that it wasn't really the System Affairs Committee's purview to determine what textbooks are being used for a specific class. Didn't want to hit that third rail when it comes to academic autonomy. So we did address it, but we felt that it was better handled at the division level or even the individual professor's level.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Steve Lowndes. Yeah, that sounds good to me. It was basically a placeholder text as well. And it really can change. It was mainly to get it through the process. And we can always change the text when I submit the full syllabus with everything that apparently you need to do to get a course approved through Columbia. So.
Thanks.
Right.
Any other questions for System Affairs? Or any other discussion on the motion is the thing I should have worded there, I guess. Hearing none, let's move to a vote. We're voting on approving the new course Palm 294. And the ayes have it, and it's unanimous. Faculty governance array. I believe that was all the new business I heard of coming today. Is there any other new business that I don't know aware of, or anything from the floor? You don't have to have announced new business in a presentation. Anyone can present business. Oh, I guess I say, is there any other new business from the floor? There's still the new business that's on the agenda, which is coming from me. Let me present my screen again. Let me go to, we have two election things happening. The first one is the important election, the Senate positions that we're electing for the April. So we have the colors coming through. Can you see the difference between the purples and the blacks here? The purples are the things that we're actually electing today. The blacks are all the other positions. We've just got one list with all the positions, including the ones we're electing and the ones we're not electing. We're not electing me. I was already elected chair. I'm halfway through my term, but next year chair-elect will be Steve Lowndes from Union. Secretary, we have put forward Shelley Jones from PC Columbia. Salkehatchie has already elected Carmela Gottsman as their executive committee at-large member. I'm not sure if Sumter has done theirs yet, but they elect it. We don't elect that person, so it doesn't matter for our election today. The nominee for the Committee on Libraries is Mac Jones. For curriculum courses, it's Stephen Criswell. This is replacing Andy Kunka, who's stepping down, so it's not the full 3-year term. He's taking over the back 2/3 of Andy Kunka's term. And those are the positions we are electing today, apart from the grievance committee, which we're going to vote on separately. Are there any other nominees for any of these positions? Is there any discussion on any of these positions? And if not, I'm going to say we have approved all of this by unanimous consent. Cool. Having no dissent, we have unanimous consent to on the ballot for next year. Let's talk about the grievance committee. The grievance committee is in limbo. The grievance committee, remember, is the weird thing where each campus elects their own grievance committee member, and then they send us the list and we vote on the list, which is weird because you know, they already got voted on by their faculty. We've made the change to the manual. It passed this year to change it so that we don't vote on these anymore. But that change is a thing that we have approved, but it hasn't gone all the way through the Board of Trustees. So maybe we shouldn't be voting on this, or maybe we should. I feel like we should, just in case there's any concern about propriety later on, in case we were supposed to have, I don't know, who's on the grievance committee can matter in a lawsuit. The grievance committee slate is this. These are the 5 people who were elected by the 5 local campuses. There's an asterisk on the Sumter one. Sumter elected Wanda Fenimore, who is undergoing the tenure process right now, and it has gone well. And there's not really any doubt that she will have tenure over the summer by the time the grievance committee constitutes. But she is technically not eligible to serve right now, and Sumter is expected to elect a replacement just in case something horrible happens. Is there any discussion on the constitution of the Palmetto College campus's grievance committee? Again, in the absence of discussion, I am inclined to rule this approved by unanimous consent. One more check for dissent. All right, we have unanimous consent on the grievance committee and the other committees, and things are going great. Everything's unanimous today. I should stop sharing my screen. The last thing of new business is the Palmetto College Faculty Awards presentation. I think I handed over to Dr. Elkins for this.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. So again, Chair Yinks, thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
And it is such a privilege to present to you the 2022-2023 Palmetto College Faculty Awards. I mean, there's no better duty than this, as we showcase the outstanding work of 3 faculty across our campuses and celebrate their excellence in teaching, service, and scholarship. Now, before we present these 3 awards, let me also say a huge congratulations to those who were selected at each of their campuses. So the Welfare Committee had a tough job as they reviewed all the nominations for these awards. So again, we're presenting 3 today, but we also had a stellar slate of nominees for all 3 of these awards. So as we begin, I guess we need a drum roll. We'll first recognize the winner of the John J. Duffy Excellence in Teaching Award for the Palmetto College campuses. And this year's winner for exemplary dedication and commitment to students and their academic success is Fernanda Burke. Lots of claps out in the virtual world. So Fernanda Burke is an associate professor of biology and chemistry at USC Lancaster. She holds the PhD in medicinal chemistry from the University of Michigan. So as we look through some of these slides, there are bullet points for you, but I also have a script that fleshes this out just a little bit more. Professor Burke successfully instructs students in a variety of challenging science courses, including chemistry, biology, and microbiology. Dr. Burke has received stellar course evaluation responses from students across 34 science sections. She's a student-focused teacher who designs each course to promote engagement and to emphasize the retention and application of material, not just memorization. Professor Burke is dedicated to creating a comfortable learning environment for students to ask questions, discuss topics, and thrive. She develops lecture materials that teach basic topics, followed then by problem-solving assignments to reinforce learning and encourage application of course material. During the global pandemic, Dr. Burke redesigned her courses, incorporating weekly quizzes to keep students accountable. Finding it so successful in improving test scores, she continues to use these quizzes in her face-to-face instruction on a weekly basis. She has also developed a laboratory experiment that allows students to explore the correlation between fatty acid structures and the properties of the soap produced by these acids. This experiment was introduced to USC Lancaster chemistry labs, and the preliminary results were presented at the CERMAX meeting in San Juan, Puerto Rico in October 2022. Dr. Burke, along with Dr. Betty Obey Johnson, is developing a program that attracts and assists incoming students majoring in STEM-related fields at USCL over the summer semesters. This program, which includes a scholarship to cover the cost of summer classes, aims at preparing students for their freshman year. Professor Burke assesses student learning through a variety of methods designed to meet student needs as well as to challenge them. As one student wrote about her, Dr. Burke, I feel, is one of the best instructors that I've had the pleasure of teaching me. I love that she gets excited about reactions, and that kind of energy is contagious. Dr. Burke lets her students know that she understands that this subject is challenging, and you can see that she is sympathetic to the fact and is very patient with us. I can't wait to start Organic Chemistry 2, knowing that she will be teaching that course just as well as she led this one. Imagine that, somebody excited to start Organic Chemistry 2. So Palmetto College is extremely fortunate to have such a dedicated and inspiring teacher. So congratulations, Dr. Burke. Lots of rounds of applause out there. The worst thing about these virtual meetings is that we're not doing this in person right now, but we will when we gather for our picnic at the end of the semester. All right, moving on to the Chris P. Plyler Excellence in Service Award. This year's winner of the Chris P. Plyler Excellence in Service Award for Palmetto College campuses for extraordinary professional, campus, and community service is Steve Lowndes. Steve Lowndes, let's see some more claps coming up here. Professor Lowndes earned a PhD in Spanish and Portuguese from the Ohio State University and is an assistant professor of world languages at USC Union. Professor Lowndes' service work spans all 4 areas, including campus, system, community, and professional. His contributions to his campus include working with the Student Academic Success Center to lead workshops on resume writing, LinkedIn, and options after graduation. He also serves on the planning committee for Fresh Check Day, and that's a day to discuss mental health and suicide prevention for university students. Dr. Lowndes has raised over $140,000 in grants supporting student programming and curriculum, which went toward the Latin American Film Festival, the purchase of microscopes, and toward piloting the AAPPL test in the world language classes for Palmetto College. Then at the system level, Professor Lowndes serves as the coordinator for the Graduation with Leadership Distinction, GLD program, where he markets, recruits, and works with students to get their GLD. He has recently proposed, and you just voted on, the PALM 294 internship course, which will allow students at the associate's level to complete an internship and have it reflected on their transcripts. And as part of the proposal, he has recommended that PALM 294 be an alternate prerequisite for PALM 494 to encourage students to continue their work experience by completing both courses and to enroll in their BOL and BLS degrees. In his community, Dr. Lowndes has worked with members of staff to identify local businesses and nonprofits for potential internships and service learning placements, which he's already successfully placed several students. Dr. Lowndes is a member of the Spartanburg Public Health Needs Assessment Committee. He not only serves as a member of Live Healthy Union, but also as secretary of the organization's executive committee, where he has written bylaws and has helped create their community health improvement plan. Then finally, Professor Lowndes is also active in professional service, offering cultural programming at the Carnegie Library by creating a bilingual reading of Guess How Much I Love You in Portuguese. He's worked with other translators and interpreters around the nation in the educational arena to advocate for better standards and training for educational interpreters. And Dr. Lowndes has stated, I believe that service is essential for the successful operation of a university, but it can be especially rewarding when we incorporate it into our scholarship and teaching. I embed service into all aspects of my career because it gives meaning to my work, and I hope to serve as an example to my students to better our academic and local communities. Now, we're incredibly grateful for Professor Lowndes and his remarkable service. So another big round of applause for Professor Lowndes. Congratulations. All right, thanks to everybody for sending up the claps. Finally, this year's winner of the Denise R. Shaw Excellence in Scholarship Award for Palmetto College campuses for outstanding scholarly research or creative achievement is, another drum roll, Patrick Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence earned a PhD in English from the University of Connecticut and is an assistant professor of English at USC Lancaster. Professor Lawrence has demonstrated a record of outstanding scholarship. He has authored a lengthy scholarly monograph exploring literary obscenity controversies from the 1930s through the 1990s, in which analysis revealed that writers of color, as well as LGBTQ+ writers, were subjected to much more damaging repercussions. Dr. Lawrence has secured interest from 3 publishers and ultimately signed a publication contract with Fordham University Press, which has been listed in the category of excellent national publishers. Professor Lawrence has also received research grants totaling over $22,000. He has written an essay titled The Erotic Fictions of Rapacious Capitalism in Excessive Novels of the 1980s, which has received a revise and resubmit by American Literature, a top journal in the field. Dr. Lawrence has also submitted an article titled Manipulations of the Edible That Show Who We Are, Culinary Self-Pleasure in the Viet Minh. The Sympathizer and Philip Ross Portney's Complaint to the publications of the Modern Language Association, receiving an R&R and subsequently positive feedback from readers, including the following remark: a pleasantly readable, smart, illuminating, sometimes funny account of an unlikely and deliberate convergence between the work of 2 ethnic American writers. That was a mouthful. And I maybe didn't pause exactly at the right spot. He's co-edited a collection of essays called Out of the Gutters with Dr. Jorge Santos, which explores the intersection of obscenity and comics, and has signed an advanced publication contract with the University of Texas Press. Additionally, he has a recurring role as a keynote speaker for Medford Library's Banned Books Week, where he gets talks about how and why books get banned and what this tells us about history, politics, and art. He has given 8 invited lectures or scholarly talks in 2022 alone, including an event with regional impact hosted by Winthrop University called Roots and Ramifications of 21st Century Challenges to the Freedom to Read. His work has been described by reviewers as potentially groundbreaking and cutting edge and innovative. So Palmetto College is privileged to have such an exceptional scholar as Dr. Lawrence. So again, a huge round of applause for Dr. Lawrence. And then finally, congratulations again to all of these outstanding faculty award winners, and a very special thank you to the Palmetto College Faculty Senate Welfare Committee, who had the most difficult job of making the selections. So again, thank you so much. It's such a privilege to showcase the outstanding work of our Palmetto College faculty.
Thank you very much, Chair Elkins. I mean, Chancellor Elkins. You can chair if you want to. That brings us on to announcements. Let me make an announcement that I have screwed up and forgot to charge the standing committees with electing a chair for next year. If you guys could please do that by email and get that to me whenever you can. I really should have made a point of asking you to do that this morning. Any other announcements for us? I guess I have one more announcement, which is thanks for making this a really easy first year of chair for me. I guess one other announcement is this is Ernest's last time on the executive committee. I think he's been continuously on the executive committee for 6 years now as chair-elect, then chair, then past chair, and then chair-elect again. No, then chair again. Maybe it's not 6 years. It's been a while, Ernest. Thanks for being here with us on this journey, Ernest. You'll be missed.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. If you need me, you know where to find me.
I think I do. Thanks. And with no, unless I'll give one more chance. Any other announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn? Let's pretend someone moved to adjourn, and then let's adjourn. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you all in the fall. Thanks.